What's up, everybody? My name's Charlie, founder of the Naughty Dog. Today we're packing some orders. We're going to be starting somewhat of a YouTube series. We're going to be showing everybody some behind the scenes things, telling everybody a little bit about ourselves, and then we're also going to be getting into doing some dog training stuff too, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So this whole idea started from my dog, Bean, right down here. Get Bean in there. Yeah. So,
Bean.
Yeah, Bean and my roommate, my old roommate, Brandon, his dog, they used to tear apart all their beds together. And it drove us like literally absolutely insane. So, I mean, really isn't much more to it. We went through so many different kinds of beds and it was just very, very frustrating. All the beds that said they were true proof, weren't. And I'll say ours aren't indestructible either, but they're the best that are out there. So that's how the whole idea came up. I wish it was more interesting, but it's really that simple. Yeah, no, I don't know how to make dog beds. I don't sew or anything like that. So when we first started to come up with the idea, I literally just Googled how to do it, Best piece of advice that I ever got was, it really is that simple, If you don't know how to do something, you just figure it out. So I started working with this company, Colorado Contract Cut and Sew. After talking with a few different people, I found this company. They're super awesome. The owner of the company, or I should say owners, Lindsay and Danny, they're literally the best people that you could ever want to work with. I went in there telling them I have no idea how to do this, and they just said, hey, let's get some stuff mocked up and we can go from there. So we went through a bunch of different types of fabrics. We tried foam, pillows, the whole 9 yards. Took us over probably about like a year and a half to actually come up with a finished product from idea, like the conception of the idea, to first prototype, to second prototype, to actually having a finished product, which is pretty cool. And ever since we started, it's just evolved from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and it's been a learning experience, and we're still making adjustments to our beds as we go every single day. So we want to make sure that it's the absolute best thing that we could ever provide to everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't know what the heck to call the business for the longest time, but it needed to be something really cool. It needed to be something that like actually caught people's eyes and that was like different from anything else, and something that is used like every day, because when we're doing this, I came from selling insurance, making a lot of money, doing really good, and to me, if I were to do something, there's no reason to do it unless you do like your absolute best job. So we wanted to make sure that it was something really, really cool. So we came up with the name the Naughty Dog, and the reason why is because everybody calls their dog a naughty dog, right? So, felt kind of weird at first. Some people that have no sense of humor don't like the name, but I think it's funny, and pretty much most of the rest of the world thinks it's funny, so I like it, and the name is staying. And honestly, like I could really see the Naughty Dog being like a household name like Kong or any of those other brands at some point. It's just gonna take a long time to get there. Yeah, so after we had the name, made a website, it sucked. Made a second website, it sucked, but we were taking sales the whole time, which was really cool. Especially like when you go from like an idea to actually creating something. We have like no pillows right now because we're always sold out, which is good. But going from like an idea to actually making something that you made, and then having people buy it, and going from my apartment to a shared warehouse space to then now like our own spot in 3 months is like pretty wild. So it's super cool to see how fast it's growing, and how do I say it? There's the one thing that I ever learned from like starting a business and like growing, and everybody says this, but from someone that's like literally just starting out, like anyone that has a business doesn't really know what they're doing from the start, and even as you grow, you never really know what you're doing. the whole time you're making educated guesses and, you know, Googling and going onto YouTube and figuring it out. And like, it really is that simple. There's no secret sauce or nothing like that. The easiest way to do things is literally just to figure it out. If you don't know how to do it, figure it out, ask people, and make mistakes. So yeah, now I got to talk about Tim, who's my business partner slash friend. So I had this idea for like the longest time. I've been looking for people to invest in it because it's not like cheap by any means to start a business. Had quite a few people that wanted to invest in the business, but I wanted to do something with one of my friends, quite honestly. But it's more than just friends. Like, going into business with your friends is not like a smart idea unless they can actually, unless they know what they're doing, or two, you think that they can learn to know what they're doing. So don't just go into business with anyone. There needs to be like some give and take when it comes to that, right? So Tim is a security guard, but he had some money to invest, so that was good. But I had the time, so the only reason we really did it is because we each had things that the other person didn't have, and that's why it made sense. If we both had money and time, it wouldn't really make sense to go in it together. Yeah, I guess. What else?
Background.
Yeah. So I mean, at first, you know, when I first had the idea, as anybody said, it was just an idea, so I didn't really have like a proven track record or anything. So of course, nobody really wanted to invest. But after we started growing pretty quickly, going from, I mean, literally in our first 3 months, we've done over $100,000 in sales, which was pretty crazy. And people start flocking at that point, which is cool. So I had multiple offers, but just because Tim and I have a similar background and whatnot, we decided to do this, which is pretty cool. Plus, I guess I just learned this today, that the reason behind why he wanted to come to the company, it wasn't because of the money we were making, it was because he wanted his picture on the website. So that's kind of funny, I guess. The key to our success has been me making decisions that necessarily we couldn't afford at that time. But what ended up happening is, by making those educated leaps in risks, that actually really paid off. We couldn't afford our marketing company the first time, but if it wasn't for the marketing company, we wouldn't have the sales, right? This warehouse, we couldn't really necessarily afford it at the time, but we made the jump anyways, have everything under one roof. Tim could come on and we could work together. We just get a lot more done. Because you know, one thing I struggle with is like letting things go, but I realize that for us to be as successful as we need to be, I can't do it by myself, you know. So one of our goals is first one was to bring Tim on, second one's to bring my girlfriend Kiana on, and then we want to hire an additional 2 people by the end of this year, which we are pacing to do, which is pretty nuts. So a big thing that I get all the time is people saying like, oh, it's just a dog bed, it's just a dog bed, blah, 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 right? It is not just a dog bed, it's so much more than just a dog bed. The whole reason that we started this is because I think there's a really big opportunity right now for American-owned businesses that support veterans, that support people that literally died, you know, for us to be able to have this opportunity to start our own business, be successful, and, you know, live the American dream. So one thing we do, we partner with Clear Path for Veterans. We donate dog beds to them for disabled veterans and service dogs and whatnot. We can give a percentage of our profits to them, which is pretty cool. And the whole mission behind what we're doing is just to help everybody else out, you know. We pay so much in taxes all the time, and then you reach 65 and you're basically told to go screw yourself, which is pretty ridiculous, right? So I was thinking, you know, how can I make an impact? And honestly, the only way to really make a big impact is, 1, make a lot of money, 2, start a business, 2, make a lot of money. Yeah, you can volunteer your time and whatnot, but that's very entry level. I think it's really cool to actually be able to provide the money so multiple people can give their time to do these things and pay volunteer, or not pay volunteers, but to pay people to you know, help people out and whatnot. So we got a lot planned here in the future. And when I say a lot, I mean we're literally in this to change the world. I say that on our website, Instagram posts, all that stuff. You guys will see later on as we do more of these types of videos. We got a bunch of vinyl that we're going to be putting up on the walls that has like our mission statement, core values, all that good stuff. So we may seem small right now, but we are out here to change the world, and it's going to be super cool. Another big thing that we want to focus on is how can we actually help people with their dogs the most? Not just providing just the product that can prevent things, but how do we actually fix the root of the problem, right? So one thing that we started doing here is we're actually putting these flyers in everybody's orders. So it's basically just like why dogs chew on things they're not supposed to, and then also on the back page here, how to get your dog to stop chewing on things. Just because, you know, a lot of dogs, they're super destructive and whatnot. People that I've come to learn don't really know what to do with it. So we wanted to come up with something where we can actually help people out a little bit more. We're actually going to be starting to do free weekly training, which is going to be cool, for an hour on Zoom. We might even start doing trainings in here in our shop, you know, on a weekly or monthly basis for free. We're going to be covering the expenses because we just want to really actually help people in our community, give some dog owners peace of mind, and then also make sure that the dogs aren't hurting themselves by chewing things, ingesting things, you know, they have to get surgery and whatnot for that type of stuff. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to be having a whole YouTube training series as well. As far as like the direction we want the company going, you know, we're trying to grow this into something that, you know, is like a brand standard, right? So we're small now, but we have big ambitions and aspirations. So as much as, you know, I want to get into the nitty-gritty details of that stuff, the way that we're going to get there is by just providing people with the absolute best experience and the best products that are out there. Also being made in America too. It's going to take time. But as long as we, you know, stick to our core values, help people, do things the right way, treat people with respect, you know, the sky's the limit, you know. I started the company in my apartment. Once I started taking on, you know, a decent amount of sales, you know, that's when we had a little bit more of an investment, so we were able to scale up a little bit, get more inventory. And then we started operating out of shared warehouse space. Now we have our own warehouse space. We only have, you know, 2,700 square feet here. I say only, but it's actually pretty big. You know, as we grow too, we're probably gonna be able to work out of here for a couple of years. You know, probably 2, maybe pushing it 3 years. It just depends on how fast we can grow with our cash and whatnot. But like I said, you know, end of this year, we'd like 5 of us working here full time. You know, I could say 3 years from now, it'd be cool to move into like a 5,000 square foot space, or really just depends on, you know, how much money that we're bringing in, really. But the ultimate goal is to be, you know, a company that changes the world as far as dogs go. You know, we want to be like the next quote unquote Kong, or I shouldn't say we want to be the next Kong. We want to be the first naughty dog. We're just going to get there by doing the right things, taking it one day at a time. Focusing, you know, just on our daily critical tasks, you know. Get things done, just focus on one thing at a time. Those things will add up over a course, you know, years and years and years, thousands of dog beds, and the sky's the limit, you know. I mean, we'd like to be, you know, employ 100 employees, you know, more than that. It just depends on what happens, you know. We're open to anything and everything. You know, it's going to be more than dog beds. We want to get into hunting gear, fishing gear, camping, all that type of stuff. It's going to be a lifestyle brand, right? Could be known for making the toughest products, the most badass products, and just being a really cool company. You know, we already have people reaching out to us that want to come work with us, which is super cool. We're just not at that point right now, but once we get there, I mean, it's going to be really, really cool. We're going to help people achieve their dreams, because our dreams are so big that everybody else's dreams are going to be able to be possible with us too. So that's all we got for today. You know, we got a lot more in the pipeline. We're going to be doing these, you know, weekly, you know, twice a week, that type of a thing. So we're going to be having these types of videos, more vlog style videos, and we're also going to be having training videos. So definitely subscribe to our channel. We're going to be here. We are at The Naughty Dog Bed on Instagram. Check us out, thenaughtyDog.com. We're going to be having so much more down the pipeline for you guys. We're super excited to have you along for the ride.